10 SAT questions on proportional reasoning. Think you can ace them all? Which choice most effectively uses data from the table to illustrate the claim? Option A, the percentage of 2016 cookbook sales that were ebooks with the percentage of 2016 science fiction and fantasy sales that were ebooks. Option B, the percentage of 2006 romance sales that were ebooks with the percentage of 2016 romance sales that were ebooks. Option C, the percentage of 2006 romance sales that were ebooks with the 2006 science fiction and fantasy sales that were ebooks. Option D, the percentage of 2011 travel guide sales that were ebooks with the percentage of 2016 travel guide sales that were ebooks. The correct answer is A. Check the description for the full explanation. Which quotation from the post office most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, I see, you don't wish to stop, I don't care to stay on here either. Option B, oh, flower gathering? That is why your feet seem so glad and your anklets jingle so merrily as you walk. Option C, I'll pay when I grow up, before I leave to look for work out on the other side of that stream there. Option D, wish I could be out too. Then I would pick some flowers for you from the very topmost branches right out of sight. The correct answer is B. Which quotation from the young girl most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, I heard her murmur, I can't bear flowers on a table. They had evidently been giving her intense pain, for she positively closed her eyes as I moved them away. Option B, while we waited she took out a little, gold powder box with a mirror in the lid, shook the poor little puff as though she loathed it, and dabbed her lovely nose. Option C, I saw, after that, she couldn't stand this place a moment longer, and, indeed, she jumped up and turned away while I went through the vulgar act of paying for the tea. Option D, she didn't even take her gloves off. She lowered her eyes and drummed on the table. When a faint violin sounded she winced and bit her lip again. Silence. The correct answer is B. Which quotation from Electra most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, O thou pure sunlight, and thou air, earth's canopy, how often have ye heard the strains of my lament, the wild blows dealt against this bleeding breast, when dark night fails. Option B, send to me my brother, for I have no more the strength to bear up alone against the load of grief that weighs me down. Option C, I know my own passion, it escapes me not, but, seeing that the causes are so dire, will never curb these frenzied plaints, while life is in me. Option D, but never will I cease from dirge and sore lament, while I look on the trembling rays of the bright stars, or on this light of day. The correct answer is C. Which quotation from The Rock and the Sea most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, I am the rock. Black midnight falls, slash the terrible breakers rise like walls, slash with curling lips and gleaming teeth divided by they plunge and tear at my bones beneath. Option B, I am the sea. I hold the land divided by as one holds an apple in his hand, slash hold it fast with sleepless eyes, slash watching the continents sink and rise. Option C, I am the rock, presumptuous sea, slash I am set to encounter thee, slash angry and loud or gentle and still, slash I am set here to limit thy power, and I will. Option D, I am the sea. The earth I sway, slash granite to me is potter's clay, slash under the touch of my careless waves divided by it rises in turrets and sinks in caves. The correct answer is C. Which quotation from an ideal husband most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, Lady Chiltern is a woman of the very highest principles, I am glad to say. I am a little too old now, myself, to trouble about setting a good example, but I always admire people who do. Option B, do you know, Lady Chiltern, I don't mind your talking morality a bit. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people whom we personally dislike. Option C, Lady Chiltern does not know what weakness or temptation is. I am of clay like other men. She stands apart as good women do, pitiless in her perfection, cold and stern and without mercy. Option D, Lady Chiltern, you are a sensible woman, the most sensible woman in London, the most sensible woman I know. The correct answer is C. Description has everything you need to know. Which quotation from the interviews best illustrates the journalist's claim? Option A, the first collective I joined included many amazingly talented artists, and we enjoyed each other's company, but because we had a hard time sharing credit and responsibility for our work, the collective didn't last. Option B, we work together, but that doesn't mean that individual projects are equally the work of all of us. Many of our projects are primarily the responsibility of whoever originally proposed the work to the group. Option C, having worked as a member of a collective for several years, it's sometimes hard to recall what it was like to work alone without the collective support. But that support encourages my individual expression rather than limits it. Option D, sometimes an artist from outside the collective will choose to collaborate with us on a project, but all of those projects fit within the larger themes of the work the collective does on its own. The correct answer is A. Which quotation from a survey respondent would best illustrate the student's conclusion? Option A, our first challenge was deciding what plants would be most suitable to the climate and soil here in Atlanta. We needed plants that could survive the hot and humid summers. Option B, we're lucky to have a few expert gardeners living in the neighborhood. Some volunteers and I have gone to them a few times with questions, and they've been eager to help us and to learn more about the project. Option C, I love getting the opportunity to be outside and around nature, especially on days when the weather is nice. Option D, my favorite thing about the garden is the feeling of pride I get when I walk by each day. As I see the plants growing, I feel good knowing I had a small part in creating this beautiful space in the neighborhood. The correct answer is B. Which quotation from the Souls of Black Folk most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, Black folk music still remains as the singular spiritual heritage of the nation and the greatest gift of the Negro people. Option B, ever since I was a child these songs have stirred me strangely. They came out of the South unknown to me, one by one, and yet at once I knew them as of me and of mine. Option C, caricature has sought again to spoil the quaint beauty of the music, and has filled the air with many debased melodies which vulgar ears scarce know from the real. But the true Negro folk song still lives in the hearts of those who have heard them truly sung and in the hearts of the Negro people. Option D, the songs are indeed the siftings of centuries, the music is far more ancient than the words, and in it we can trace here and there signs of development. The correct answer is B. Which quotation from Ghosts of the Old Year most effectively illustrates the claim? Option A, what does this brazen tongue declare, that falling on the midnight air divided by brings to my heart a sense of care divided by akin to fright. Option B, the snow has ceased its fluttering flight, the wind sunk to a whisper light, an ominous stillness fills the night, a pause, a hush. Option C, it tells of many a squandered day, of slighted gems and treasured clay, of precious stores not laid away, of fields unreaped. Option D, and so the years go swiftly by, each, coming, brings ambitions high, and each, departing, leaves a sigh divided by link to the past. The correct answer is D. Okay, you're built different, that score is genuinely wild. Score in the comments. Subscribe, daily drops.